Hey guys, Zomfox here, and today it is time to do the final game picks video of the 2024 United Football League season. That's right, it feels just like yesterday we heard the announcement that the United Football League was happening between a merger of the XFL and USFL, and well, we're finally at the championship game. From the early on season where a couple teams lived up to the hype, a couple teams really didn't, to the mid-season where we knew exactly which four teams were going to make the playoffs, to a final couple weeks that had a bunch of insane games, whether it be big upsets or just close, crazy games, and a postseason that has been a pretty weird one, but a pretty solid one overall. It's finally time to talk about the UFL championship game. Yes, the championship game is happening on Sunday, so if you're watching this today, it comes out in just 2 nights. The championship game will be upon us. I will be at that game. I'll have a community post out earlier today, so if you haven't seen it, go check that out earlier about what I'm doing at that game. And if you end up enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get started by looking at the odds for this game. The odds have the Stallions at a -3.5 spread, with the over-under being 42 and the money line being -180 for Birmingham, +150 for San Antonio. I am not too shocked that Birmingham is the favorite. Yes, they did lose their head-to-head matchup, but I think a lot of people are expecting that even though the crowd is not going to be as large as we expected due to the Battlehawks not making it, that a lot of people who are going to go primarily to boo San Antonio, whether it be because San Antonio is, mainly because they beat St. Louis in that last game. So a lot of people do expect that if one crowd is going to have any, or one team's going to have any sort of advantage, to be Birmingham, but I don't think it's going to be really a big deal. It's going to be negligible at most, but it isn't a shock either. This is going to be a good game. Look, on one hand, it's the question of Adrian Martinez. He is going to be starting, if I remember correctly, but it's, he didn't play all that well last week, and he hasn't really looked that well the past few weeks. But maybe him getting the MVP is going to, be that rejuvenation he needs for this game, as he does need revenge on San Antonio. As San Antonio is the only team that has still never lost to Birmingham. Yes, they only played one game, but Birmingham has never beat San Antonio, which definitely is going to hurt them. So Birmingham needs to get this W for that regard, and to finally get the official three-peat. Yes, technically they did three-peat the USFL, but to get this championship would be the true first pro football three-peat in a long time. So they do want this win, and they want it bad. Now, will they get it is a quick question, or a hard one. The fact is, both these teams are pretty healthy. I believe San Antonio does have a bit more injuries, but they don't have, it's still not nearly as bad as like they were a couple weeks ago. The fact is, like I said last week, the reason I thought St. Louis was going to blow them out was because I was not fully sold on guys like McFarland, Lovett, and Garbers being that healthy, and they ended up all being healthy, and they're all looking to be fine for this game as well. So it's going to make it a lot closer. Birmingham, at least from what I saw in the early week injury report, looked to be fully healthy, from what they were last week. Whereas San Antonio may be missing a couple guys, but it's not going to be like, a massive loss or something, except for, I believe there's one pretty big defender that's going to be out, potentially. But it is a championship game, so probably will play. So the question, of course, is who do I have winning this game? I have Birmingham three-peating and winning their third straight championship, winning a very tight, somewhat low-scoring game, but not really, 26-23. I do think San Antonio covers. I do think it hits the over. I do think Birmingham wins. Why? Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if San Antonio wins. Wade Phillips is his first time head coaching a championship game in, the pro level. So this is a big deal. He's been coaching for 55 years. It's a big deal. At the same token, the Stallions want this three-peat. Skip Holtz wants to win this championship. I know people joke about it, but in all honesty, if Holtz were to win this championship, you might as well name the UFL championship trophy the Skip Holtz trophy or the Holtz trophy. Just because at that point, it's like, come on, the dude's been a spring football legend at this point already, considering the fact that what he did the 2 years with the Stallions in the USFL and this year. They want this win. It's that simple. They want to get the three-peat. It would be incredible to do it, especially doing it with 3 different quarterbacks. I get it's spring football, but doing it with 3 different QBs. Yeah, I know some will say technically not really because, in year 1, Magoo played the second half, but as we all know, Jamar was playing better than him that year. But overall, though, this will be a massive deal for the Stallions to win it. And the reason I think they're going to win it is just because they have those playoff guys that I'm more confident in. Yes, some of them didn't play insane last week, but as I talked about in my Fox Super 6 picks, I do think Deion Kane wins the spring football championship game MVP again. This time UFL, last year won the USFL. I do think he wins it again. I think he's another insane performance. If he doesn't win it, I think it's because CJ Maribel wins it. Those 2 guys in the playoffs are great guys to have on a team. Those 2 guys are insane because the big thing with the San Antonio Brahmas, the one issue with their offense is that they still heavily rely on those big plays by their running backs, mainly McFarland. McFarland, yes, he at this point historically gets you 1 or 2 big plays, but if Birmingham's able to stop that, the question is, can San Antonio really put up enough points to beat Birmingham if he doesn't? Yes, the defense held them to a very small amount last time, but just like I said when, we had the playoff preview where I was like, both these games are going to be more high scoring. Yeah, they both didn't hit the over because San Antonio St. Louis, but the San Antonio St. Louis game still had, a decent amount more points than their first matchup. I don't expect this to be a game where both teams hold each other under 20 again. I just don't see it. I think that when you look at it, this is going to be another week where Birmingham's going to be used to not having John Chavis as DC. This is going to be another week where their defense is going to be healthy. I think their defense plays a bit better than they usually do. But San Antonio's offense is basically as healthy as it's been all year. I get that Cody Latimer is out, which, because of season-ending injury. But, it's, early on in the season they were missing their center. Then there was other injuries. It's still not fully healthy technically in that regard, but it's probably like the healthiest it's been in a while. So I think this is going to be a good game, but I do have Birmingham barely getting this one. If San Antonio does win, I'm not going to be shocked at it. The fact is they are built to win a championship. I mean, so is Birmingham, but San Antonio has that incredible defense. They do have a very good head coach in Wade Phillips, one of the best in the league. Is their offensive play calling a bit in question? A little bit. Not a ton. It's just that, at moments, there's times where the play calling is an issue. Overall, it's solid, but there are moments. So could those moments potentially hurt him? Yes. Could we potentially see a re-injured Garbers or a re-injured McFarland? I hope not. Knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but it could happen. I don't expect that with Birmingham. I could see that with San Antonio. So all in all, I'm barely giving this one to Birmingham to get the W. Now, as for the overall record on the season, last week was the first negative week, I think, all season, honestly. I went 2 of 6 last week. I got the entire Brahmas game wrong. The Stallions game, I got 2 of the 3 right. I did get the over-under money line right. So we're back in the negative on the spread, but we're still overall positive on the season by a pretty high degree. So overall, again, the season record is like the best it's been in a while. I mean, neither year of the UFL was it this good. I think next year I'm probably going to add the opposite of perfect game betting predictions, do the perfectly incorrect, or, the opposite, or fully wrong, something like that. I'll word it right when I do it next year, just to add that. But overall, again, it was a solid year so far. Again, with this championship game, we're not going to hit over on the spread. We're going to, at best, hit, 50-50 if San Antonio covers. But overall, even if I were to go 0-3 in it, it would still be an awesome season. 28 of 14 in the money line is a really solid number. 24 of 17, the over-under is really good. I know a lot of people usually struggle at that with spring football. So we'll take it. So yeah. So again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. I am having, another upload come out tomorrow, believe it or not, which will be posted while I'm gone in St. Louis. But again, I'll have a video posted tomorrow about the awards from the fan perspective. I also will be at the championship game as well. As I said, I have a post coming out earlier today, so if you haven't seen it, go check the community tab. I'm going to have info about where I'm going to be at, if you guys want to meet up or something. And then, of course, I have videos coming out when I get back. Of course, we have the yearly videos we do, ranking quarterbacks, ranking players, looking back at the season and all that. So be on the lookout for all that. And as always, have a great night.